On later cars, the speedometer cable is in two pieces and screws together up right in this area right here, but on the older cars it's one piece, and you have to disconnect it from the transmission like Andy's doing now by pulling out this one bolt and then pulling the housing out of the transmission. When I say earlier cars, I'm talking about from 66 through 70. Or 71, I've forgotten when they made that switch. Come on. It's tight. Okay.
Just like a Honda.
Yeah, same idea. This right here is why you have to remove that bolt, because it goes into that slot to hold the nylon drive shaft and housing in place. The early dashes were made out of nylon.
Yeah, Chrysler tried a nylon carburetor.
I know.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Heat. After a while, the carburetor's warped out, won't seal. And you've got junk, nothing. Now they don't make the carburetors anymore out of nylon or anything else. You've got a worthless automobile. How about that?
To be honest, it was a worthless automobile when it was made.
That's true.
Paper or something to put underneath here. We should.
Where are we dripping onto?
We're going to be dripping from here, because it's a low point of the system.
To the ground, yeah?
Yeah, so it'll be dripping on the ground for a while. Not a whole lot, but it will drip, drip, drip. Okay. Actually, you know, if we wanted to, we could, since we've got it this far, just remove it. Set it down over here someplace. The other way. I'm going to take
That's the baby.
a C-brake. That's the steering rack. And that's going to be disassembled, cleaned, new seals put in it, pressure checked, and new gaiters on it. And this thing completely revamped so it doesn't press on it like that, because that's incorrect.
See how that's worn there? Flattened on the hydraulic line? That's no good. That may be part of my problem.
No, what it is it's pressing up against here.
Yeah. See, there's a rub there.
Yeah, and that's from the radiator hose. So we need to make sure we reposition that.
We got another one of those coming.
Yeah.
And, best of all, it'll be painted and pretty.
What you need to do this job, to remove these springs, you can either spend a lot of money and buy the factory tool, or make one from their drawings, or you buy one of these from Zim Tool in Chicago for about $18. And it's basically a valve spring compressor, but it's a real heavy duty one, and it will, you just shove it in there and then compress the spring so you can remove it from the parking brake caliper. And I'm going to need a pair of pliers, Andy.
This is for removing the brain.
This is the cable adjustment for the hand-operated parking brakes on the IDs, on the ID model cars. And what we have to do is undo these lock nuts and screw it back in so we have more cable to be able to pull it loose.
Enough room there?
We'll see. Yeah. You don't actually have to screw it in, it just slides in and out. Okay, that should do it. Now, you should be able to get this loose. Well, Andy, check that over there and see if we're Is it back up against the housing?
Yeah.
Okay, unscrew it. Unscrew the nuts some more. There, got it. Okay. That's that spring. You have to be kind of careful with these springs. If it comes loose, you may have to go into the next county to find it. So that's that one. Then we get this one. We need to disconnect this from the transmission.
Here?
There. This is two parts. And then we need to disconnect this here and here. Actually, yeah. Either that or disconnect it down here, Andy. If we disconnect it down here to the lever, we can slide this back after this is removed from here. So I would do this one first, then do that. I'd actually do the one on the bottom first, then do the fine. Almost put it like a... Pierre was having a good lunch. There we go. Great, your parking brake cable is in great shape.
Oh yeah?
Just greasy.
Okay.
A lot of times when you have done this, you'll find that the parking brake cable, the strands have started to break inside the housing from sliding back and forth due to lack of lubrication. But Andy's had enough oil leaks and hydraulic leaks on this car that has kept the cables well lubricated.
It's a self-lubricating system.
Absolutely, it was designed that way.
Part total loss, part maintenance.
Yeah. Taking off the rest of the shifting system for the manual shift, I'm going to pull the half axles through the wheel bearing so that the tripod unit, which is against the transmission, is free and clear of the engine. But to do that, we need to first take this dust cover and bend it back. And you'll see here that we're missing some nylon covers on the, here's one here, this one's in place right there.
Nylon.
But we're missing a dust cover on this needle bearing, and we've got more coming. So when we put the car back together, after everything is cleaned up, we'll reattach the nylon cover here, the dust cover. So all we have to do to disconnect this is just pull this loose, and with this out of the way, the drive shaft just comes out through the wheel bearing, and we just let it sit there. We're clear of the we're clear of the disc, and everything is great. And I'll do the same for the other side. It was designed by an engineer by the name of Hook, H-O-O-K-E, and I don't know when, but it's a double-acting U-joint. There's actually two U-joints inside the housing. And this was actually a very innovative design The only problem with it is that it's heavy and it's expensive to make. But the advantage of it is that it allows for almost 45 degrees of movement of the front wheel without binding the joint. That's one of the reasons why the turning circle on the D's was so phenomenally tight for the length of the car. And this car has a 120-inch wheelbase, and its turning circle is about a foot less than a Volkswagen Beetle.
Interestingly, Cavassier had to design a driveway for a residence that utilized the Citroen's turning radius. So the turning radius of the Citroen established the radius of the driveway.
Yeah, and not much else will fit.
You can't put no Ford Mustang in there.
Most modern cars, and even modern Citroens, have wheelbases that are in the 100 to 110, 100 inch to 110 inch range, and their turning circles are typically 38 to 42 feet. Because of the fact that they don't use this design, they've gone to what's called a Rapezza joint, which is a lot cheaper to make, but it doesn't allow the same degree of wheel movement without without running into the problem of ruining the joint itself.
Nylon.
Nice nylon lock nut.
Spell.
Yeah, Cits use a lot of those. A nylock nut.
It's very aircraft.
Yeah. There's a nylon ring at the top of the nut that's crimped into place, and it acts as a self-locking mechanism. We're moving the nuts for the crossbar. The front, actually, it's called, everybody refers to it as a crossbar, but really what it is, it's the front engine support.
And essentially, it's suspending the transmission and brakes across the frame. We've got two engine mounts in the back that are rubber-based, so you've got some vibration dampening. And then up here where the transmission is, that's covering your base for a hanging situation.
Now, when we pull this loose, Andy, there may or may not be a shim in here.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and we probably, if there isn't, we should probably put one in.
Well, you know, I was looking at this car nose on this morning, and this engine looks like it's a little bit...
Well, okay, what that is that it got taken out at some point and it wasn't centered properly in the back. Here, you'll need that to use that.
I got it.
You know, this is interesting. This car, I wonder what this car started off life as. Well, normally the IDs do not have two separate feed lines for the brakes. They have one, and it crosses over from one caliper to the other. The DS's have two separate feed lines. This one has two separate feed lines.